Hey folks, this is a video response. This is actually, I'm answering a question directly asked to me by Anderson in Brazil. And thank you for the very kind email, and I am answering your question to the best of my abilities. Now, Anderson is from Brazil. English is not his first language, but he has a dream of moving to Japan someday to become a teacher. So he wants to come to Japan to be an English teacher. And he's asked me if that's possible. Now he's got a degree, university degree, and he's also currently taking a CELTA course, which will more than prepare him to teach adults and whatnot. But the one thing that Anderson is worried about is the fact that he's not a native English speaker. And I've talked about this before, about non-native English speakers getting jobs in Japan. And he wonders if it's possible. He's heard that in some cases, some people say that it's not, other people say it is. You know, I tell you, from everything I know, it's absolutely possible to get a job as a non-native English teacher. Why will I tell you that? Because I've worked with a lot of non-native English teachers. I've never worked at an Eikaiwa language school per se, but I've worked at like international kindergartens, international schools. And yeah, I've worked with a lot of people, and I've met lots of people who've been ALTs, who've been Eikaiwa teachers who are not native English speakers. I got a friend who lives in the same neighborhood as me, who is from Brazil. And he worked for years as an ALT, an assistant language teacher, in elementary and junior high schools. And now he got a direct hire job, I believe, like a really good one, teaching at a public kindergarten, Japanese kindergarten. Worked with a woman for my first few years here who's from the Philippines. Worked with a teacher a couple of years back who's from Sweden. Currently at the school I work at, I have some coworkers who are from Kyrgyzstan and Turkey. So absolutely, you can work, you can get a job, you can get a visa if you are not a native English speaker. There's certain things you're going to need. You're going to have a university degree. So if you're going to work as a language teacher, you're probably going to need, it's called an expert in humanities international relations visa. If you're working in public schools, like as an ALT, you may need an instructor visa. But either way, to get that, you just have to have a university degree. So, Anderson, it sounds like you qualified. You got a degree, and you're taking a CELTA qualification. You said you lived abroad for several years, like in the UK. I think you're good to go, sir. I wouldn't worry about it. Now, you know, there are some schools that would rather have native English speakers, and there are some places that might not want. And it's not a legal thing. It's just like the choice of the company. But again, like I said, I've worked with a lot of people who are here as English teachers who are not native English speakers. And to be honest, I think, in my opinion, that often probably people who are non-native English speakers would probably even make better English teachers because they themselves have learned English as a second language and really truly understand what it takes to learn English as a second language and can probably actually have more empathy towards their young learners and teach better. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Anderson, there you go. Hope that answers your question. I'll see you guys all soon.